I'm afraid I've got some bad news. This show was complete rubbish. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the King of the Ring podcast. And joining me today is good old Connor. How you doing, Connor?
Woohoo! Yeah, I'm fine, mate. How are you?
So I'm doing alright. So today we're going to be covering this heap of garbage known as Fastlane.
In quotes, rebranded Raw.
Exactly. This could have really passed as an episode for Raw. So what do you do when you've got a new pay-per-view? You start off the match with a crappy six-man tag. Now, I only really like Dolph Ziggler and Seth Rollins in this match. I don't know about you, but all the other guys just I'm not interested in. I just
Past
think,
it.
like, I mean, like I don't like they're all just big, strong guys. Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler, the only guys who I think could like put on like an acrobatic, entertaining match that like varies and stuff. But yeah, so basically, this match was boring. You know, they had a few spots, and the end, the finish was Big Show did a jumping KO punch, knocked him out. Then Kane did like some sort of like almost like a botched choke slam, and pinned 1, 2, 3, and it just the whole match was just something that me and Connor couldn't really get behind, and like we just weren't interested in. We were both watching it, and I mean I didn't notice anything memorable. I mean, what about yourself? Did any
The
particular?
only thing that stands out to me is probably a KO punch. Who doesn't love a good KO punch, in all fairness?
And I love it when Big Show legitimately looks like he shoot punched you, and he's like, he's like fuck you, kid, and just like punches you in the face. I mean, you've got to love them, even though like sometimes they look crap, depending on if it's like John Cena selling it. But yeah, so this match was not a good way to start.
Let's be honest, it wasn't exactly the highlight of the match. Wasn't the highlight of the match, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean the finish, the end to this match wasn't that great, and we're gonna get on the crowd throughout the show because in my opinion this is one of the worst crowds I've seen in a while. This is almost up there with like Hell in a Cell and other pay-per-views out where I've complained about the lack of crowd interaction and the lack of them getting behind the match, because you know you can have great matches in the ring, but if you want incredible matches you need the crowd behind you. And like the crowd, like for Daniel Bryan in the main event, which we'll get to later, the crowd were like, they weren't as explosive as I've seen them with like the
I felt
yes
they were quite
chants.
half-assed about it.
It's like they couldn't really be bothered to get behind the people. Maybe because they knew what was going to happen. Maybe they foreseen what was going to happen, and they thought no matter how much we cheer and shout, that's not going to change the outcome. Maybe, but I mean, yeah, I think we'll just move on to the next match because this.
I think you forgot something that happened at the end of that match as well.
What, the beatdown at the end?
A certain return.
Oh yes, aye. It was, I sort of knew that Randy Orton might be coming back, but I thought he was going to do it at Mania. Like, say if Seth Rollins was going to like try and cash in or something, like Randy Orton would come down. But yeah, Randy Orton, came back. Who did he RKO again? It was Rollins,
he RKO'd
Kane.
Rollins, Kane, and
Did he do it to the Big Show?
no, I don't think he did. But the RKOs were amazing because RKOs are just amazing in general.
Yeah. Oh, he RKO'd J&J Security.
Oh yeah.
That was pretty funny because like
Rollins blitzed, didn't he?
Yeah, Joey Mercury like wasn't subtle at all. He knew they was setting the jumping thing up. He just jumped straight into the RKO. He wasn't doing any sort of like crossbody or axe handle. He was I'm just gonna jump in Randy Orton's arms and get RKO'd. So
I just died.
Exactly. So we'll move on to the next match, which was even more awful. Talk about two people that we don't give a flying shit about in a storyline that is just god awful. If it seems like we're shitting on the show, we really are.
We're not that subtle.
We spent, how long was it? 2-3 hours?
3 hours.
poking our eyes in, playing on FIFA in the background while watching it. Like, and I always watch the pay-per-view. This pay-per-view had me zoned out so many times, and this was
I,
one of the reasons. You know
I
what
just
I
feel
mean?
sorry for anyone who's actually kind of
Like
paid to
paid for it, like, you know?
watch it live, especially if you live in the way we live, where you have to stay up late to watch it.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
feel sorry for them. It's
I
waste
mean,
of
I'm
time.
just glad that like we can watch it like where it's recorded and stuff. Because like if we had to go out of our way to watch this, we would have felt even more let down. You know what I mean?
I know it's just like this show is pre-Mania. It's meant to get you
You're
hyped
meant to
up for
get hyping
WrestleMania.
for WrestleMania, and now I'm like, WrestleMania is gonna have to do something that we haven't seen before to get us excited, and that's not gonna happen. You know what I mean?
People would say
And
it's bad booking, but bad storyline in
to
general.
be honest, it's just there's no storylines. Like the only storyline that literally meant anything was the Bryan Roman Reigns match.
There was one more in the match, but I think we can talk about it later.
Hmm. Right. So let's talk about Goldust and Stardust. In my opinion, Goldust shouldn't even
Over.
be wrestling anymore.
He's just too old.
He should have packed his bags a long time ago. And then you got Stardust, who they keep like trying to want him to go back to Cody Rhodes or something. And to be honest, him as Cody Rhodes or Stardust, I'm not really
He
the
needs to grow
biggest
his
fan.
mustache back. That's
Exactly, the
the
mustache
obvious.
gives him secret powers. And this match, to be honest, I thought the ending was botched.
It did look a bit botched.
Um, like I don't know if that was to make it like oh you couldn't beat us like cleanly the like messed up ending or something.
Or like a possum victory.
Yeah, it's just like you don't know what's happening, but you know we'll have to wait and see on Raw if this stuff continues because they're probably going to go to
Yeah.
WrestleMania.
I also like to
Um,
point out that the moves in general was very slow paced. It was very hard.
a lot of the matches tonight were very slow paced, and everyone just seemed gassed most of the time.
It was very try hard on the promos as well. Like they were trying to force this like soap
Mm,
style storyline when it was just like, come on.
yeah, and also as well when you look, the psychology wasn't there in the matches. Now you need psychology in the matches for you to believe what's going on to make it seem real. And
Or it's just a script.
although this was a shit match, the only thing that was relatively decent about the match was the way that they're making it seem like you believe like this was like legitimate, if that makes sense. That's the only good thing about this match was the psychology. Everything else was a bit meh and a bit using Dusty Rhodes to come back to get like a cheap pop, and no one seemed to really care. And it was just a disappointing match, to be honest. Um, I honestly can't think of any spot in that match that really had us like excited or like remotely interested. I mean, what about you? What do you think
I
about
think
this
to be
match?
fair, the only thing I pointed out that match was I think was the change in attire for Cody Rhodes. I meant Stardust.
Mm. To be honest, he looked a bit silly. Like
I think that's the whole point in the fifth dimensional. Like he's meant to be like kind of a.
he thinks he's on
And
FTV or something.
then all I remember is the commentary as well saying, "Oh, you started to go home in these costume and stuff." It's like I don't care.
It's like no one cares. The crowd doesn't care, and we don't care. So
Really don't.
we'll move on to the next match, which was surprisingly
Average.
boring, but like had one or two like things that was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But I mean, let's just get this out the way, right? I love Cesaro and Tyson Kidd. I think they have the makings of a great tag team,
Two
but
technically sound wrestlers as well.
like they don't get enough time. They don't get any time on the mic to build the characters and to build the team. So it just feels like the two guys put together who are getting like sort of buried into the like mid and lower cards, and they think, oh, these guys are over with the Smarks. Let's put them in a team and see if we can try and like push them somewhere.
I
And
do want to give a shout out though to Natty looking fine.
yeah, Natty was looking on point
Fine.
tonight. Me and Connor were joking, saying that that was the only highlight of the match.
It was a great highlight though, I'm not gonna lie.
Just that's when you know the match is bad. That when like someone who's not even in the match is the highlight. It was just generic spots. We've seen it before. And I just don't. I like. The thing is, right, I like the Usos more in Total Divas than I do them in the ring. Because I just think they're
Well, same as John Cena, innit?
they're so generic. They're just the John Cena's of the tag division. And I say that every time that they have a match on the when
I
they do
just
the
thought one
reviews.
spot, the spot when he ends up, I think Samoa drops him on the barricade. We said that was a.
Oh yeah, that was a pretty cool spot. Aye, he like was he going for like a suicide
Yeah, I think he
dive sort of thing?
was.
Oh no, wait, he was on the apron and he like pulled him off and got him on his shoulders and did a small drop in the barricade. That was pretty cool. Um, and the ending was kind of strange because I don't know exactly what Tyson Kidd's finisher is.
That's just
I
sharpshooter.
know the sharpshooter is one of his main moves, but I don't know if that's his finisher. But he ends
I
up
think it is.
winning off a swinging neck breaker, and then pins him. And Cesaro and Tyson Kidd win the tag team championship. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see what they do for Cesaro and Tyson Kidd at WrestleMania.
Like, at least they're
Because
pushing him forward a little bit.
yeah, I mean, although it's minimal steps at a time, that's what you've got to do. You've got to wait until the crowd gets behind them, and once the crowd gets behind them, then they might start going places. Because if you think a while back, I don't know if you watched it back then, but when Cesaro and Jack Swagger
Oh
were
yeah.
the real Americans, they were just starting to get some like crowd reaction, and then they split them up. So hopefully it doesn't take them too long to get that crowd reaction. So they think, oh, what's the point? We'll just split them up
Look, kid though,
because they're
not
not
too
going
long ago,
anywhere.
he was number one contender for the Intercontinental.
Mm,
They're just chucking him around, to be honest.
yeah. So overall, average match with one or two decent spots, and that was it
Up
really. It
to
was
now, it's probably the pick of the matches, but even then, it was barely a pick.
yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what they do at WrestleMania. Maybe they might do some stupid tag team battle royal thing just to get everyone used so they don't whinge at them. Um, who knows? We'll just have to wait and see on Raw or SmackDown's leading up to WrestleMania. So the next segment, because this wasn't a match,
Just
was
annoyed about.
which was Sting and Triple H. So me and Connor both love Triple H. I think he's one of the best heels
It's great.
ever. I think he's fantastic. And I don't know about you, Connor, but this just felt a little bit awkward.
It did.
Like, just
As soon as he came out in his street attire, though, we should have just known. Like,
yeah. I mean, like everything just like the body language of Sting and everything was just awkward. Like you didn't almost want to be there.
it's like, yeah.
And to be honest with you, I'm not excited to see this match. Like me and Connor joke, mate. We just want Triple H to bury Sting at WrestleMania. Just all this hype about Sting coming back. Oh, never before, first time in the WWE. Look at the hard cam pedigree.
Thing is,
One,
though,
two,
they're not
three.
going to let a WCW superstar beat the WWE icon. It's like
Mm,
their own company. You know who's going to win. It's like a Cena match. You know who's going to win.
mm. We just hope that our logic is correct on that, because you never know. So, but I'm not excited about this match. What about you for WrestleMania?
Personally, going from the fans' point of view, they've paid the money to go hopefully to see Triple H and Sting fight each other at Fastlane. That probably might give Fastlane a bit of pull. To be honest, that might have saved the
Well,
pay-per-view. But
actually, on the Raw, they said it was a face-to-face confrontation.
fair
It
enough.
wasn't
But
actually thingied as a match.
like I
'Cause
say,
if
that could have saved Fastlane though.
mm, I mean, I think they're just doing this just because the names are attracting a lot of things, and obviously because Undertaker lost the streak. I think Sting originally wanted to verse Undertaker, but now he's got Triple H, which
That
I
would have been an
think,
awful match. I wouldn't even want to watch that, to be honest.
yeah, we pretty crap like. But the next part, because we didn't. There wasn't really a lot to talk because we knew that was going to happen, that they were going to have the match at Mania.
Yeah, he's generic like bat and
Yeah.
sledgehammer confrontations.
Hmm.
It's pretty.
Like I said, it felt awkward to me. Like he
It
didn't really
didn't
want
feel
to.
right.
Like there wasn't that sort of energy or excitement about it. So the next match is Nikki Bella versus Paige. Now, for me, that this was really just an
A filler.
it's another Divas match where I'm like disappointed
It's just
because
filling in the minutes. That's all it's doing.
like some of the pay-per-views now, I think you know what, I want to watch this Divas match, see if they're getting any better,
Yeah, you
and
think with Paige in it, they would up it a bit, but
and obviously Nikki was gonna return to go to WrestleMania as the Divas champ, so they can probably do another battle royale, just like what they did with AJ when she was champ.
oh yeah, she won it still.
Yeah. I think they're probably going to do something like that. But when you talk about the Divas, now I know you didn't watch this, so I'll take over here. NXT Takeover Rival. That was how you book the Divas. The Divas had an incredible fatal four-way match with them taking big bumps, doing wrestling moves. The crowd were behind it, they were into it, and it just made an incredible match. And you look at them divas there, Sasha Banks, Charlotte, Bailey. Oh, and I cannot remember that last.
Isn't one of them Ric Flair's daughter?
Yeah, that's Charlotte. I can't remember that lass's name. Anyway, it was an incredible fatal four-way match, right? Big spot moves that the divas on the main division will not take. They will not take a belly.
Plus the Silicons.
They will not take a belly-to-belly slam, right, off the top rope to the middle of the ring. They will not take any big spots like that. And this match was just really disappointing. And it ended with a roll-up. What a surprise. Every fucking Divas match ends in a roll-up in every other pay-per-view, it seems.
You know why though? It's just so they don't pop the bloody Silicon falsies.
And it's just frustrating because like I like watching some of the Divas matches because I like Nikki Bella and I like Paige, and I think this could have been such more of a good match if the psychology and the physicality was there. It would have made up.
You
for
know
it.
the first division like divas aren't going to be pushed because the best diva just gets messed around with NXT and she chauffeurs for a tag team. One of the most experienced divas in the roster, Natty. She's like probably up there with like the business. She's been there a long time. She knows what she's doing, but she just gets messed around. The divas are never going to fix that. It's always going to be your roll-ups and your really bad.
But if you want to see a good Divas match, either you, Connor, or the people listening to this, check out NXT TakeOver Rival. What a match that was. But yeah, Nikki Bella retains with a roll-up. This is probably gonna continue on Raw, and like up to WrestleMania. So who knows? It might get more interesting. People might get more into it. Depends on how they book it and if there's mic time, because you can't get into a rivalry like this when the divas get no time on the mic. You just can't get into the things. You can't get into the matches. And
yeah, all they're getting is like two
like
stupid segments of like pulling pranks and it, like stealing someone's clothing.
Yeah,
and there's no like hype for it. There's just
it's not like serious. It's just like daft.
Gimmicky.
Yeah, I mean. So, I think it was a bad ending to go on a roll-up. I think they should have went with the rack attack and the 1-2-3. But, whatever. We'll just have to wait for another pay-per-view maybe to see a better Divas match. Hopefully WrestleMania. Maybe not. Might be Extreme Rules after. So the next match is for the Intercontinental Championship. In a match which I was actually surprisingly looking forward to, but I was like really let down by. I love Wade Barrett and I love Dean Ambrose, and I just think that this could have been the match of the night if the booking was right for the match, like the spots and the segments. It ended on a DQ. Like Dean Ambrose was like stamping on him in the corner, and he got like the 5 count. He got disqualified. Like, people might have been really looking forward to this Intercontinental title match, and it ends on a disqualification. You know, you can still make Dean look strong, and like he's gonna win, but have Barrett hit him with the bullhammer, 1, 2, 3, set him up for a WrestleMania rematch, and that would have been champion. It would have been great. But when you do this, it makes us think, are they even sure that they want Dean Ambrose in this Intercontinental match? Maybe they might have changed their mind. You know what I mean? What's your opinion on this Intercontinental title match? Do you care? Do you not care? Who would you have wanted to win and why?
Just like to point out as well, the Intercontinental doesn't really have any.
It's starting to get some meaning again, but it needs more like credibility. Like when the champ is defending the title, he needs to win. He needs to get the pin. Because I think doing shit like this is making like the champ not look as strong. Like it's
very
credible.
Eddie Guerrero-esque.
I just think that if Wade Barrett had hit him with the bullhammer, 1, 2, 3, but like Dean was going all out, he had a lot of momentum, and then Barrett just hit him, 1, 2, 3. That would have still made Dean look strong, and it would have sent the fans away, knowing that they saw a clean finish to this match, and it wasn't just a crappy count out or a disqualification finish that you see normally in like mid-card title matches on pay-per-views that don't matter. But like I said, there was a few cool spots in this match. Obviously Dean Ambrose doing the doing the funny thing and taking the belt after the match.
God knows where he took it.
I thought that was pretty funny. He's probably he's probably like part of the story now. Like he's not going to give it back, and like Ray Barrett's going to have to like try and track him down and get the title back.
That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, but I mean, when you think about like just some of the things in the match, like it could have been so much better. It could have been the match of the night, but we'll just have to wait and see if they do anything at Mania. Hopefully, there's a clean finish at Mania. Otherwise, it will make Barrett look weak, in my opinion, as the champ. So we'll move on to the next match, which is Rusev.
If I remember rightly, between the matches, was it the segment with Barrett? No, with Bray Wyatt, because I think that's not on.
Yeah. Oh, yes, you're right. So, I think Michael Cole and them were talking. All of a sudden, the lights go out, and you hear the bells, and the Druids come out.
Yeah, you know what you're thinking.
And you're like, the Undertaker's coming back. This is setting up Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. Because Bray Wyatt's been talking about the Undertaker in his promos very subtly.
I'm not gonna lie, this segment here was very well done. I enjoyed this segment.
Yeah, this was probably the best, one of the better things that was actually done on the show. On a show of a lot of low points, there wasn't very many highlights for me personally. This was one of them. This was one of the
way
better parts.
The Druids brought out the coffin, they came to the ringside, you're thinking, oh my god, Undertaker's back for Mania. Mania's only 5 weeks away.
And then all of a sudden, the troll himself,
John Bams,
Bray Wyatt comes out, and he starts saying that the Undertaker is weak, and like cuts a promo, and then he gets back in the coffin and they take him out. It was a really cool way to get the Undertaker to respond. So maybe on Raw, Undertaker will come out and have a confrontation, and maybe set up something for WrestleMania. But it makes you think, right? Undertaker comes back once a year for WrestleMania, right? Big deal. Brock Lesnar ended the streak. Why would Undertaker have to come back now after his streak's gone? I think they're doing it maybe to put over Bray Wyatt. But if you think,
Undertaker's reputation.
Right, how about this? Right, let's throw this swerve ball at you.
Okay.
Watch out. So, WrestleMania, Bray Wyatt, Undertaker. Bray Wyatt goes over 21-2. Puts over Bray Wyatt, because obviously, Undertaker might retire. Undertaker's still going to look strong because he's still got an incredible record, but that's going to put over Bray Wyatt, who's like for the future of the WWE. He's there every week, where Undertaker isn't, because he's a lot older and he's got a lot of health problems now.
Maybe.
Would you be okay with that? Like, what?
Personally, no. But
what would you? Right, if you were booking, how would you book this then? How would you book Bray Wyatt Undertaker for
Me
WrestleMania?
personally, I would book it with a good match, obviously. An Undertaker win, but I don't want it to be a win where it's dominant. I want it where he just scrapes it, then maybe he retires after that, just to prove that he, after that Lesnar thing, he still.
But do you think that would not make Bray
No, because
Wyatt
I
look
think if you
weak?
make it, I think if you make it a good match, I think he'll still go over. But for me, I think he should retire if retire when he beats him
Yeah, I
because
think I think Undertaker needs to retire now.
yeah, it'll keep his reputation. It won't go on too long.
That's the thing. I just feel like the Undertaker's went on for a bit too long. Like I feel like he
I'm not
should
gonna
have.
lie, I'm a big Undertaker fan. I would have loved to see that go on, but
Yeah, I think he
uh,
should have retired after the CM Punk match.
oh, that was a great match.
Yeah, it was a good match, and
He won.
he won. So you might as well just retire because then he wouldn't have lost the streak. So after that segment, we now have Rusev versus John Cena for the United States title. Now this, in my opinion, was classic WWE. Rusev crushes John Cena for a long part of the match. John Cena. I said to Connor before the match, I bet you John Cena breaks out the accolade. What does he do? He breaks out. What a surprise. And John Cena ends up losing by submission, but where he passed out. You know that when he did that, so John Cena doesn't look weak by tapping out. I thought it could have been a better ending, but I liked it. I thought it was okay. The match itself wasn't too bad, but it wasn't great.
Yeah, I get very cynical behind these kind of matches anyway, because whenever John Cena's in a match, I get cynical because I just know the ending. He's always going to win Endgame, so it's like it annoys us.
Mm. I mean, this makes Rusev look strong, but what happens next? Do they have a title rematch at WrestleMania?
I like Rusev personally. Maybe he's not his gimmick, but I like him in general.
Yeah, he's very physical and he offers like a new kind of style. It's
Yeah,
like
like a wrest, like a kind of a
he's like really
mat
big.
wrestling.
He's like big and strong, but he's like really agile. Like he can do all these big kicks and like running moves and stuff, and it makes him look even more stronger. I mean, he looks like a tree trunk. He's massive,
His shoulders, man, so big.
and I think that Rusev needs to drop the United States title
And Lana,
at
sadly.
some point. Yeah, maybe even go solo.
Yeah, the Russian
To, to
Floridian Lana.
just to like prove like what he can do. Because I feel like sometimes when you've got a manager, it can almost like hold your character back. You know what I mean? It's like Brock Lesnar. Everyone, the only reason people like Brock Lesnar is because he's with Paul Heyman,
Yeah,
and
him.
everyone loves Paul Heyman. And where's Rusev gonna go now? Does he face John Cena again? Would you watch another Rusev Cena match at Mania? Or would you like Rusev to maybe go into a different feud now and
No,
try something else?
I want him to go on a Total Divas and
What with Lana? That would be awesome.
yeah,
I want to
maybe
see.
Lana.
I kind of want to see Lana on Total Dude. I want to see like if she can keep the gimmick up like outside of the ring.
She won though, did they? Like that's the thing on Total Divas, they don't keep up gimmicks for the most part
Hmm.
because they call everything storylines and stuff, don't they?
Mm. But you got to think though, it's like, what if on Total Divas you've got Lana there, and she's talking American, and then on the show she's talking Russian? How are you gonna get like? How are you gonna believe that she's actually Russian? That
Yeah,
makes
but
sense.
it's a reality show. It's meant to be reality though, not
Mm.
it's not meant to be.
Could be. I'll be
It's
willing.
like
I'm intrigued. What kind of things does she get up to?
I was gonna say because it's just like the Bella Twins when they're always like this week in the Raw there's the storylines were feuding and stuff.
Mm.
So you can see the dresses a story, but obviously it's a quote unquote reality show.
Yeah. I think it would be pretty interesting because I've seen some pictures on Twitter where like Lana and Rusev were at Real like Santiago Bernabeu.
Which is the Real Madrid
Yeah,
stadium for no football fans out there.
yeah. And it's like I want to see like all the cool stuff that go to like the New
Quite
Orleans
interesting.
like party and stuff and all sorts of things like that. I think would be quite cool. But so I think we'll move on to the next one because I think we've covered all we need to on that
Pretty
match.
much.
Which is the main event, which I think will be the probably our most talked about thing. So I think we should probably put like a parental advisory sign here or something.
Maybe. It may get a little bit French.
Yeah.
/blue.
But yeah, so the main event has been built up for God, how long now? Since the Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
So about
that's
a
when it
month,
kicked
yeah.
off, didn't it?
Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan main event. Now, there was a few ways that this could have went down. And obviously, should we cut straight the result, or do you think we should maybe?
We should build it up. Like
Okay,
I had
alright,
a few ideas. You've had a few ideas of how it could have ended, and
Yeah.
none of them happened.
Yeah. So, the audience clearly loves Daniel Bryan, right?
He's one of the most.
He's
probably
he's a workhorse superstar, right? I think the reason a lot of people love him as well is because he's so genuine.
Yeah, you can
Like,
see that he's general.
Like
Really
he's just a. It almost comes across like you're like a normal guy that you can relate to. He's not like some superhero, if that makes sense.
Yeah, he doesn't look like. Obviously, you can see he's in shape. He's pretty.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say he's really muscly, but you can see he works out.
He's in shape, and he can wrestle, and people love that. The Smarks love that he can wrestle, and then he puts on the crossface, and I mark out when he does it. And Roman Reigns wins the Royal Rumble. Roman Reigns gets booed out the building. They brought The Rock back. That didn't matter, right? It didn't matter. He was getting booed out the building. So they thought, holy shit, this is going to backfire. Let's chuck Daniel Bryan into a stipulation match to try and get the fans to like almost believe that Roman Reigns could actually like do it if they put him up against a legitimate contender, to make him look strong, make him look like he actually had some like wrestling capabilities. I mean, what did you think about Reigns in this match? To me, he looked gassed most of the time.
He had serious pacing problems.
And like some of I saw some new moves, which was surprising. I just think that obviously you've seen it multiple times. John Cena, CM Punk. When you're the WWE champion, or you're the main guy, you're in the main matches.
Well, we kind of pointed that out about Bryan as
You've-
well,
you-
his submission moves.
You've gotta stick to what you do best, right? You've got to, Cena gets called the 5 moves of doom, but he does them 5 moves spaced out. He spaces them out. Yeah, he's not the most technical guy, but he like his pacing of when he does his signature and his finishing moves is much better. Now Roman Reigns, he's a big lad, right? He's a big strapping lad. He can carry a lot of weight. He's a strong fella, and he just doesn't have the fitness.
He needs to hit the gym.
Just think, right? WrestleMania main event. That's where it's all at. That's where legends are made, right? You've got Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. 2 guys who don't do cardio are going to have a 25, maybe 30-minute match. It's going to be like on 2K on the game when no one's got any stamina and they're just crawling on the floor.
You know what it is? I think that's what made Undertaker so good. He's a big guy, but he could pace himself, which made his matches enjoyable to watch. So that's what
as he gets older, obviously your fitness deteriorates. But when you've got someone out like Brock Lesnar, who's not as old as Undertaker, but he's a big, strong fella, and he's looking just as out of shape as Undertaker is in that match, then you've got a problem. And I don't think Roman Reigns is going to carry the match at WrestleMania at all.
He can barely carry himself after 5 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, kind of, like, we're not very fit, but I feel like we could wrestle longer than he could. And it's just, I don't know, like, I would say I'm disappointed, but I knew it was coming. If that makes sense.
Kind of get angry at something that you know
like,
is going to happen.
We saw coming a while away. Vince is like the stubborn mule of Family Guy, and he will not take anyone else's like ideas or suggestions, if that makes sense. He if he's got his way, he's got his way.
Set in his ways.
And whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, mostly bad most of the time. I mean, yeah, it would have been the same thing if Daniel Bryan had been in the WrestleMania main event and he won. But is that bad? No.
No, because everyone loves that guy.
If Daniel Bryan is selling tickets and he's getting the crowd like the crowd never gets, and they're all chanting yes, and they're all like going crazy, he's your guy. You know what I mean? Roman Reigns is barely getting any pops when he comes out. He's barely getting any reactions. And it's annoying to see because, like, obviously, the guy's he's a pretty chill kind of person. But I just don't feel like he's, like, serious enough, if that makes sense.
Again, I'm surprised he hasn't been as like slapped when he's walking out through the crowd. He's that hated at some points.
Oh yeah, when I always think, you know, whenever they see the wrestlers go in the crowd, it happened with CM Punk. Like someone's gonna like give you a good hiding from behind, and I'm surprised no one's like. Apparently, he got beer thrown at him at a live event. I read somewhere, which is pretty funny.
It's not the worst thing that someone could throw at you, to be honest.
It's like, well, jeez, I didn't have to buy that drink. But so Roman Reigns wins. That's pretty much it. I thought it was a pretty decent match, apart from the pacing. Apart from the pacing, this was a good match. Daniel Bryan, I think, could go for a 60-minute Iron Man match and still look strong at the end. Roman Reigns couldn't do a 5-minute Iron Man match.
Roman Reigns is tired after his entrance.
Just walking down a flight of stairs.
Aye.
The thing is, right? I think you want a face at WrestleMania main event to get the crowd going, to make a memorable moment. What's going to happen when Brock Lesnar gets more cheers than the babyface Roman Reigns?
I don't know if you can remember this one, WrestleMania 17, The Rock versus Stone Cold. A classic rivalry. But that match went on for so long and the pacing was so good on it. Like some of the spots was amazing. You need a rivalry that can do that. You can drag it out for like 50 minutes.
If you even think WrestleMania 18, Rock Hogan, right? Like if you're going to be in the main event, you need to be having the sort of reactions, or getting the reactions that they can. Daniel Bryan can get that.
Roman Reigns can't get that. Roman Reigns
can't. He gets fed lines off the camera, and it's just he's terrible on the mic. Like he sounds like sounds like someone who's smoking weed all the time.
Like, if you can think of all the other people that get reactions, well, you can think Randy Orton sometimes gets them. Not a lot, but he does get them every now and then.
Depends if he's a face.
Yeah, it depends on his actual gimmick at the time. Ziggler, people love Ziggler.
Yeah, Ziggler's awesome. He generally gets a good pop.
Dean Ambrose gets really good reception from fans.
Well, I think he used to get better, but I think obviously, do you know when Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose went their separate ways, and Seth Rollins became the guy, and Dean Ambrose sort of got like pushed aside. You know what I mean? Do you know after Hell in a Cell pay-per-view?
Yeah.
It feels like Dean Ambrose is slowly creeping downwards, but like because he's good on the mic and good, like relatively good in the ring, he's sort of like keeping it steady. Whether or not
these guys can pull reactions, Roman Reigns can't. Vince, obviously he's setting his ways. You know,
the thing is, right,
guys, but he just needs to change.
Like, what is Roman Reigns' gimmick? He just pretends to be a badass.
The Rock.
He pretends to be. If you look at Roman Reigns, right, what's your first reaction? Like when you look at him, what would you think that he is?
Just look at it. You think he's like kind of just the chill guy. He doesn't do out. He doesn't say much.
Like he's not a very vocal. I mean, he's very strong and do all the lifting, but there's plenty of them people already around. It doesn't set him apart. You know,
he just looks angry all the time. He doesn't really do anything. Yeah. Like he needs something to stand out. I don't care if he goes like technical or something.
The ending of this match, I saw coming 3 blocks away. Right, Daniel Bryan was going from the running knee, and what's he call that? Is there a name for that? Is it just?
I just think it's called just the running knee. I don't think there's an actual.
Well,
name.
It shouldn't have a name if it's just a running knee to the face. It looks pretty cool, right?
It's just like Randy Orton when he used to do the
punt
thing.
The punt.
Yeah,
kick.
The punt. That was amazing.
That was pretty cool. But I used to love when I used to cut the camera angle and used to see him completely miss.
Yeah.
It's like, why did you just cut to that? But yeah, Daniel Bryan going for the running knee. Yes. Roman Reigns is slowly getting up. Spear, 1, 2, 3. And I honestly thought he would have got booed out the building. But I think there was a few more Roman Reigns, like, casual fans there that,
Oh, you
like,
neutrals who don't really know much about
cheered
stories.
more, or they cheered more over the boos. Like, you could hear the boos.
Yeah.
I knew it was. Did I tell you quite a while ago? I think it was about a week or so ago. I said, I bet you they're going to make Daniel Bryan either lift his arm or shake his hand in that ring as a show of respect to try and pass some some
Yeah.
reaction over to Roman Reigns, some good reaction. Maybe, oh, he's not that bad. What, blah 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 blah. And it
Thing is, you
happened,
gotta.
and you could hear the boos. The fans saw that coming, and they just don't like.
Yeah.
Triple H, right? NXT was booked awesome. NXT Takeover Rival was booked awesome. They booked Kevin Owens like a beast. He won with a KO, right? The ref had to stop the match, and he won the title. Why couldn't they have done something like that to make him go over? And then he could have just celebrated, forcing Daniel Bryan to shake his hand or lift his arm after the match. I just think it's a pretty weak move, to be honest.
Think of it this way though, obviously you get your wrestling fans, you have them of all ages, you have the kids, you have some teenagers, adults, grandparents. Think about it, a kid wants to go to a wrestling show, the parents don't know much about it. They take the kids, there's two adults, the kid, and then they all just they don't know they're just neutrals really. They don't know. They don't watch the story enough to know who to boo for.
I think this arena was full of casual fans tonight.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Casuals. That's all it is. There was no actual.
Can you remember when you were a kid and you were watching wrestling and the crowd were going insane during the Attitude Era?
Yeah.
It excited you. It got you into the matches more than sometimes the wrestling did. This crowd tonight was, pardon my French, fucking useless.
You know what it was like? It was like an Arsenal crowd or a Spurs crowd. Just sitting there in the chairs, clapping their hands.
Yeah. The crowd needed to get behind some of these matches.
Yeah, with the occasional southern accent shouting, "He's better than you."
I love that. I don't know if you can remember, Joe at WrestleMania. Joe and Undertaker was gassed on the rope.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, they're quiet because they were shocked. Oh, you heard a song going, "You suck." And that's just the greatest thing ever. Right. So now's the part of the show where we're gonna give our score. So what we're gonna do, Connor, on the last, I would say probably half a dozen podcasts, is what I do is I give a score out of 10. Since you're the guest, I will let you go first and give your score out of 10, and maybe give
highs and lows.
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
Okay.
Do that. Yeah.
Right. So out of 10, I'm gonna give this pay-per-view.
Well, you can be as harsh as you want. If you think this pay-per-view was abysmal, give it a score. Don't think, oh, I don't want to do. Just go for it.
Put it this way: the highs. For me, it wasn't a match. It was the Bray Wyatt segment. That was amazing. I love that. That's me. That's the only thing that
excited you almost.
Made Fastlane not Raw.
Yeah. So what's your score out of 10 then?
Obviously, low point in the match is. I'm honestly going to give it a 2. I'm going to say it's one of the worst pay-per-views I've seen in all. I'm 19 and I've watched a lot of wrestling.
Yeah.
And this probably is the worst I've ever seen.
I honestly can't remember what I give the Royal Rumble. I think
we bashed the Royal Rumble as well, to be honest, and this was 10 times worse than that.
Right. So, for me, I'm going to agree. One of the best parts was the Bray Wyatt thing. The psychology was great. I tricked the fans and got a good reaction. For me, I don't think there was any matches that really stood out. For a main event, I thought this was a quite average match. Obviously, for a normal pay-per-view, I don't think Fastlane should be before WrestleMania. I think it should be moved maybe to the middle of the year where it would do probably a lot better. And if I'm going to give this show a score, I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10. It was incredibly lackluster, terrible crowd, and overall, I just thought that it was a poor pay-per-view. So we're just going to have to look forward to Raw, which is tonight. So hopefully we can see some better,
Yeah.
endings. To
If
the
you want to see
stories
some
or
good,
something
like
that.
just some general good TV by WWE, watch Toll Davis. You may
Yeah.
think it's really gimmicky and stupid, but
Toll Dave, me and Connor love Toll Davis.
it's
We actually
amazing.
prefer it to the actual shows most
Better
of the
than
time.
better than Raw.
Exactly. So I think we're gonna wrap it up here. Thank you very much for coming on, Connor. And
Yeah, no problem.
if you have enjoyed, please make sure to click the like button, leave a comment, tell us if you hate Roman Reigns as well, and join the club with me and Connor. And yeah, I'll see you next time, which will be for WrestleMania, guys. So make sure to subscribe so you catch that. I'm gonna try my best to make that one extra special. So make sure to stick around for that. And I'll see you next time on another episode of the King of the Ring podcast. See you later, guys.
Goodbye.